David Johnson, and this is my snapshot presentation. As far as educational influences in my life, I picked Huey P. Newton, who was the co-founder of the Black Panther Party of Self-Defense and a revolutionary in the 60s all the way up until where he died in the late 80s. I never met him and I didn't know him personally, but he was a huge educational influence in my life. Was he came from the worst projects of Oakland, and he went to college and he finished high school and he was aware of the situation that he was in, how it represented African Americans and how terrible that was. But take a step closer. How it represented African Americans and how terrible that was. And through education, he was able to some extent change his surroundings. You know what I mean? Like he was able to elevate his mind and figure out what he needed to do by pursuing a higher learning, which was he got his PhD in social philosophy, which technically makes him a doctor. So Dr. Huey P. Newton, I guess, is my academic influence. As far as things that I feel like I need to work on to do better academically or to get over the molehills of college, because I feel like college is a lot more different than high school, whereas it's easier to get swept up in college. The work has a way of falling on you, and you can get caught up in trying to finish so many projects and turn in so many papers and study for so many quizzes that you really don't get nothing done. So you really have to come up with a game plan and map things out as far as how to finish your work. Kevin, how long is the video? 120. All right, cool. So the first thing as far as those lines is, I feel like one of the 3 problem-solving strategies would have to be the focus. Focus comes into play heavily. It keeps me, I still need to work on focus. It keeps you from getting distracted by the little stuff. And everything all right? Yeah. It keeps me from getting distracted by the little stuff like TVs, looking at my phone, playing games, messing with my family, playing with my pets. Well, you got to develop focus skills, because without focus, you're never going to get anywhere. And next, I got set goals. Setting goals are really important. It's like you need to set goals every day. If you have a dream and something that you're trying to work towards, and if you just have the dream, you don't have the goals to put towards setting the dream, then you're not going to get anywhere. It's ultimately setting up for disappointment. So when I mean set goals, I mean, if you know you got to study here and here and here, then it's like, where do you want to be in 5 years, and how do you get there? Setting the goals to end up there. And lastly, I have planning. Planning is the third one, but it's not least but not last, because it is probably the most important one. You got to map out every day. You got to plan every day. Figure out what you're going to do to get the most out of your time. If you know that you only have a certain amount of hours to study between sleep and between work, like I have a job, so I have to manage my time very efficiently. And through trial and error, I've gotten to a point where I can manage my time and get the most out of my day. But that's tricky, and as a college student, it's a necessity. It's like a skill you have to have. All right, how we doing on time? So I say all this to pause it. That's probably academically. I mean, as far as collegiately, one of the biggest pitfalls and the most trouble you can have is like failing a test or failing any type of program. Really, it's like I failed a bunch of tests and quizzes just in high school. But in college, when you're paying for it, it takes it to a whole nother spectrum. Like you can get depressed, feel bad. You fail a test, it really does feel like the end of the world. I guess probably the best advice I have for myself is towards the move forward is not the last test. And you got to kind of learn from what did you do wrong that led to you failing this test or failing this quiz, or even so far as failing this class, if you let it get that far. What did you do? You have to learn how to take the lesson from that and kind of spin it to your benefit as a learning opportunity. I've gotten better at that, sort of. Like, it's still a learning experience. I know to the point to where I know what's wrong and how to fix it. But as far as having the consistency and the diligence and the discipline to apply all those things and then amalgamate it into, like, I want to say the perfect college student, that still eludes me. So that's probably the most troubling part. But this is David Johnson, and this has been my snapshot presentation. Thank you.